professional historian or a history buff who's read half a dozen books on Lincoln, the odds are pretty slim that you'll find anything new to you here. And if you're one of my friends and colleagues who makes a living studying Abraham Lincoln, then you certainly know far more about the subject than is contained in this volume, which I urge you to drop at once, so that you can return to the archives and continue making the important documentary discoveries that make books like this one possible. What this book is meant to do is to help reconnect the public and professional approaches to the study of Abraham Lincoln. This is not so great a problem with Lincoln as it is in other areas of history, where professionals employ impenetrable jargon while writing on obscure topics, while the public tunes into the History Channel. But even with Lincoln, there's been to some degree what Mark E. Neely, Jr. called an abdication of scholarship that led to the triumph of irresponsibly cynical and iconoclastic popular theories. This book alone can't turn back the march of cynical and iconoclastic popular theories, but it can try to provide a synthesis of the best of academic Lincoln scholarship, supported by references, presented in an accessible fashion so that you can confidently deal with those theories yourself the next time someone starts to tell you what they think they know about Abraham Lincoln. If it answers your questions, or, better still, prompts you to read another book for a fuller answer, it will have done its job. Chapter 1. The Boy Lincoln. It's a great piece of folly to attempt to make anything out of my early life. Lincoln's reply to journalist John L. Scripps, 1860, when asked to provide information for a campaign biography. When and where was Lincoln born? February 12, 1809, in a log cabin on the South Fork of Nolan Creek near Hodgenville, Kentucky. Is the cabin still there? Sort of. The site's marked today by a curious memorial on the grounds of the original Lincoln farmstead. There, at the top of a wooded hill, stands what appears to be an old-fashioned bank building incongruously looming over an otherwise bucolic setting. A grand flight of 56 stone steps, one for each year of Lincoln's life, leads the visitor to a pair of imposing bronze doors hidden behind 6 massive Doric columns. Within this Greek temple, on a Kentucky hillside, resting on the granite floor in the center of the room, is the cabin where Abe Lincoln was born. Unfortunately, it's not really Lincoln's cabin. The National Park Service, which maintains the memorial, describes the crude wooden structure as the traditional Lincoln birthplace cabin, inventively using the word traditional in place of a more accurate adjective, such as fake. Note: perhaps this definition will one day enter common usage, as in, the wily coach called for a traditional field goal, or, dear, for our anniversary, I've bought you this traditional diamond. The real cabin almost certainly fell down at some point in the decades after the Lincoln family moved away, there being no reason at the time to preserve it. A speculator named A.W. Dennett purchased the farm in 1894, hoping it would become a tourist attraction. He found a 2-story cabin nearby that might have been standing when Lincoln was a boy, took it apart, transported it to the birthplace farm, and reassembled it into a smaller 1-story cabin. When he found few customers willing to make the pilgrimage to his remote corner of central Kentucky, Dennett took the building apart again, with the idea of moving it to places more frequented by potential viewers. For good measure, he bought and disassembled another cabin that supposedly was the birthplace of Jefferson Davis. The 2 cabins appeared side by side at fair